like we are live. Yes. Hey, if you can see me, if you can hear me well, drop an emoji in the comments so I can see that everything is working. Cool. So, hello and welcome to How to Make a Sales Funnel, the webinar. This is our first live webinar at Involve Me, and the whole team is very excited to have a new way to communicate with you, to connect with you on a personal level, and to exchange feedback. Let me see. Okay, everything is working. Perfect. So before we start, I would love to get to know a little bit about you guys attending this webinar. So go in the comments and tell me where are you from and what are you selling. We're asking where are you from because we're still trying to figure out an ideal time zone to pick the best time to do these in, because we would really like to not have these live webinars at 3 a.m. in your time zone, or at least for the majority of people. If you live in Australia and you're the only person, I'm so sorry, but you can rewatch this webinar at a later time, anytime. It will be recorded. Also, I'm asking what do you sell, so I can see what kind of business are most of you guys running. So when I'm giving you some tips and when I'm showing you how to build funnels, I can do it specifically for your business based on your specific needs. So you do get the benefit of being here live, as opposed to watching the recording a month from now on. So yes, there will be a recording immediately after this webinar ends. It will be available and rewatchable directly here on Facebook. So you can rewatch it as many times as you would like, anytime you would like. We're not going to delete it. So it's just going to stay there forever. That also means that if you hear something interesting, that you would like to share with your team or with somebody you know, feel free to tag them in the comments, invite them, share the link. They can rewatch the whole thing from the beginning, or you can also just send them a timestamp. That also works. Cool. If you have any questions right now or during the webinar while I'm explaining something else, feel free to write them in the comments. I will try to answer as many of them as possible, but also the team will be in the comments, so we'll be able to get back to everyone, hopefully. Okay, cool. How's it looking so far? Hello, Anya, and hello, Ahmed. We have a travel business and a UK digital marketing agency. Perfect. I'm definitely going to check that link out after we're done. Cool. So now let's get started with the actual webinar, I suppose. Okay. So welcome again to How to Make a Sales Funnel. Involve Me. So my name is Monica Ben. I am the head of marketing here at Involve Me. So I'm a marketer and I use Involve Me for a job, which is kind of a dream job, and it can be for you too if you choose to make your funnels with Involve Me. Here are my contact details. You can contact me via email, Monica with a K, not with a C, with a K, at Involve Me anytime. And there's also my social links. You can reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn, but I'm always on Involve Me's social media. So reaching out to Involve Me, social media is like reaching out to me personally because I'm the one who's behind it. So if you're talking to me, you're talking to me on Twitter, for example. Cool. So what are we going to cover during this webinar? We're going to offer a very brief explanation of what a sales funnel even is for those of you, hi mom, for those of you who have no idea what is a sales funnel, and we're going to basically take you from zero to hero very quickly. We are going to show you how to move leads down your funnel, from the top of your funnel to the middle of your funnel, all the way down to the purchase stage of your funnel. We are going to show you how to create content for each stage of your funnel, make that interactive content. And we're also going to be making here live two different types of funnel. We will be making a no-touch funnel for no-touch sales cycle businesses. And we will also be making a sales enablement funnel for more sales-driven businesses, or any kind of business that needs more of a human touch, any kind of assemblies, demos, customizations, you name it. So that funnel is a little bit more advanced. Also at the end, there will be a quick Q&A section where you can ask any kind of comments and I will go through them. Cool. So what is a sales Funnel. A sales funnel is a multi-step process that guides your sales prospects from the first click all the way to the purchase. It is a way to move your website visitors, just casual website browsers, all the way to becoming paying customers, as streamlined and automated as possible. So there's many approaches and many different ways to look at the funnel stages. Some funnels, maybe your company funnel has 20 different steps, maybe it's only 2 steps. At Evolve.me, we have simplified it into 3 basic steps that basically any purchase and any business can fall into. The first stage would be awareness. That is somebody finding out that your business exists and coming to a very basic understanding of what you do. Consideration, the consideration stage is when your leads are thinking about and considering if purchasing from you is the best option specifically for them, if you can offer a solution for their particular pain points, or if you have the exact perfect product variety for them. The purchase stage is the final stage, and that is where your paying customers, your subscribers, would fall into. A basic illustration of the process of processing through these funnel stages would be, for example, me when I'm online shopping, or even when I'm not, I'm just browsing Facebook. I see an ad for sweatpants. I think, do I need sweatpants? Decide that yes, absolutely, and buy them. The progress through the sales funnel can take seconds. It can take a day, it can take weeks, or even months, depending on how complex, how difficult, or how expensive your product is. If you're outside of the spontaneous purchase category, your funnel will definitely be longer and maybe require more steps, more touches, more pushing people down the funnel towards a purchase. So let's just say guiding, not pushing people towards purchase. So what kind of people do we find in the first stage? Those are your website visitors from either organic traffic or paid traffic, anybody who lands on your website and does not sign up for anything, doesn't buy anything. That is the awareness stage. Your social media followers are also in the awareness stage. Those are the people who don't visit your website, but they know about you from social media. Offline ears are people who have heard about you from other customers, so your word of mouth plays a factor in here. Offline ears are also people who you might have spoken to at events, conferences, online conferences, seminars, webinars. They just haven't really turned into leads yet. They've heard about you, they register you, they just not thinking about purchasing from you right now. The ultimate goal of the awareness stage is to generate leads. So we're turning these people into leads. Moving on to the consideration stage, once you have those leads would be any accounts created if your platform allows for creating accounts, so registrations, signups. It can also be your newsletter subscribers, so anybody who signs up for a newsletter and gets your email, or it can be all the demos that you scheduled that didn't really lead anywhere. That is also people in the consideration stage. They had enough interest to raise their hand, reach out to you. They were considering a purchase at some point. They just didn't really make it there, so they get stuck in the consideration stage. Basically, anybody who gave you an email or their contact information is considered to be in the consideration stage. The ultimate goal for the consideration stage would be to generate engagement. So you have collected your leads, and now it's your turn to engage them with content that is relevant, helpful, and informative for them. Cool. In your purchase stage, those are the people who have purchased from you, who are your buyers, your subscribers if you have a subscription model, or your shoppers if you're in e-commerce and you're trying to produce many return happy shoppers as possible. Obviously, the ultimate goal of the purchase stage would be to generate payments. Cool. So far, pretty clear. Nobody's screaming in the comment section, so I'm just going to move on. Okay. Hi, Mom. Hi again. So the awareness stage, let's have a closer look at that stage. As I said, it is people who have who know about your business but are not thinking about purchasing from you. So you need to present your product to them so they will consider a purchase and move on to the consideration stage. Actually, let's make our first funnel, the no-touch funnel, the more basic one, and let's illustrate all of these stages in one single thing. So it's gonna involve me. I'm just going to quickly log in. Cool. I'm going to move my camera so you can see everything. Yes, you can see everything. So I can either create a project from here, or I can go to templates and pick any kind of template that I would like. The templates are categorized based on what I would like to make to kind of guide me, but you can look at the templates as more of a guideline. For example, if I want to make a survey, I don't need to pick a survey template. I can pick a form template and add survey elements. And so the functionality is exactly the same for every template. You can drag and drop anything into it. So when you're picking a template, you can just pick on based on what look, what font, what colors you like, and you can make it work for your individual needs. Cool. So I am going to start from scratch. So you can see all the possibilities that you can do. And if you start a project either from a template or from scratch, you are presented with the first choice. You can either make your project a project with a thank you page, or a project with outcome pages. Now, the difference between these, a thank you page is a single, just one page at the end of your project. So, for example, if you're making a survey and you're just asking a few questions, how do you feel about this? What would you suggest? Is there anything you would improve? And at the end, thank you. That is a thank you page project. If you want to have a variety of different outcomes, for example, based on the person's answers, you would show them a different result, like in a quiz, for example, or you would like to direct them to different places, to different products. You can do that with multiple outcomes. So for this specific case, I'm going to pick multiple outcomes, and I'll name my project. Well, because we'll make it. And now I'm editing. Hello. So you can see my outcomes here. You can see that right now I cannot delete them because there needs to be at least 2 outcomes. If I added one here on the plus icon and name it outcome 3, now I can delete one of them. Let's just keep 2 for now. Okay. So in the beginning, it just tells you to drag and drop your elements here. So I'm just going to make a quick first page. Let's think about it as like a little lead page, like a little landing page for my visitors and my project clickers. So I'm going to have a headline and a button. Now let's customize my headline. So the kind of product that I had in mind, you might have seen it featured on our website before that I'm going to recreate, is what kind of glasses fit your face. It's a good example of a funnel because it's a quiz, but at the end you can actually buy the perfect glasses for your face. So we've made good examples of funnels are shoppable quizzes. So that's what we are going to make right now. So glasses. Face. Boom. Next quiz. And in the bottom, we can write take quiz so people can immediately see that this is the quiz. Now, I'm not sure if you're liking this look. To me, it's a little bit too basic, so let's get creative. I'm going to center it so it's nice in the middle. And I'm going to pick a font. Yeah, let's go with lobster. I like lobster immediately, so much better. Cool. Now, it's a little bit plain, so I'm going to add an image. Let's have it here at the bottom. I have some backgrounds here, but I don't need the background. I need an image of glasses immediately. There we go. Boom. Boom. Now, doesn't look that great, so I'm going to blend this picture into this content card here. So I'm going to make the content card the same color as the background of this image. So let me edit the content card color. I have the color right here. so I don't have to take a guess. Boom, there we go. Blended. Cool, so that is my first page. Now let's actually take the quiz. So in order to find out what specific glasses match each person who is taking that quiz, we need to ask them a few questions. I like to ask my questions in a visual way, so if people are viewing it on their phones, which most of them probably will be, especially if you're promoting your content through social media or email, a lot of people open their emails and check their social media on the phone. So instead of just a regular question, I like to ask a question with an image answer. So I will drag and drop that in here. And what can we ask them? I'm going to ask them, when do you wear glasses? Some people wear them every day. Some people just wear them for reading. I basically sleep in mine, so I think that should be a decisive factor when picking what kind of glasses are the best glasses for you. So let me pick some of my images. Maybe now you can see better. So we have reading, and we have all the time. Now I don't need these two options because I only have two, so I'm going to delete this one and that one. And do I need to write a description of the answer? Let's just in case. Reading and so when do you wear glasses? For reading or for all the time? I'm going to make a copy of this page so I don't have to drag and drop this here again. You see down here in the copy icon, I will duplicate it. Boom, now I have it twice, number 2 and number 3. And I'm going to ask another image question, which would be, what's your face shape? What's your face shape? Obviously, I need to replace these with some shapes. And I have 4 face shape. Oof. So I'm just going to add 3 more. 1, 2, and another one. Diamond shape and a square. Perfect. Now to me this looks a little bit too long and it's hard to see all the options. So I will go up here and instead of grid view, I will pick horizontal. And now I can see all my options in a line. I think these shapes are pretty self-explanatory, so I don't think they need a description text. So in displays answers text, I'm going to untick that and boom, it disappears. Am I happy with this? I think these two circles are too close to each other and it's too similar, so I'm just going to drag this diamond up here. Boom, and now it's in a different order. Okay, now if you notice, I added a button here so they can continue to the next page. But this page is set to automatically continue to the next page when they pick one. So we don't need any buttons. Cool. Now let's ask about their style. I'm going to copy this image of this page again. Reorder it, so it's the last one. And let's ask them about their style. What is your style? And I have icons for 2 different styles. We have a classic one and a unique one. I think these one would need a description. So it's very classic. And unique. So that is basically, I think that can be it. That can be our shoppable quiz. So with glasses with your face, you take a quiz. They ask you about when do you wear them, what is your face shape, and what is your style. So now let's make the outcomes. Now, based on all of the combinations of the options that we give people to choose from, we can easily have 20 different outcomes. But for the sake of this webinar and not having to make 20 outcomes and making me watch that for 40 minutes, let's just make 2. So I will make an outcome page with a headline, and let's describe the 2 styles of glasses that we had. So we had a classic one. So let's do a timeless and classic. And they are perfect for reading and everyday one. I like this headline, so I'm going to copy it into the other outcome, which is another cool way to save time. I will keep the second line, and for the unique ones, I will write that they are chic and quirky. Okay. Now let's show them the actual glasses so they know what they're buying. So again, I will drag an image in here and show them what the glasses look like. These are the classic ones. Boom. And here we would need the quirky ones. There we go. Still chic, but a little bit questionable. Cool. Now, since this is the last page, this is where we're showing them the perfect glasses for them. That is where we can ask for a payment or enable them to buy the glasses if they are happy with the outcome. So I'm going to drag this collect payments element all the way down here, and I can connect credit card payments or Stripe payments. It's really that easy. It's there. Now you can accept payments within this quiz. How long did that take? 20 seconds? And I'm really slow. Okay. For the price, we can pick a fixed price for each pair, and we can just manually type in. We can make this one slightly more expensive. I can edit the text instead of pay now. I can say anything I want. I'm happy with this, so I'm going to leave it there. Now let's copy paste this into the other glasses. Whoops. And here we are. Let's make these ones cheaper. These are $59. Cool. So that is basically our shop cool quiz. We've made 2 outcome pages for 2 different types of glasses. We asked them some questions to determine which of these types of glasses would work for them best. And we gave them an option to buy it right there. And then now we just need to make sure that the correct outcomes are displayed after the correct answers. So we need to connect them. So let's go to this style. So if they pick classic, we will connect it to the outcome, which is classic here. If they pick unique, we will connect it to the second outcome, which is outcome number 2. So now it's connected. If they pick classic, it will be directed here. If they pick unique, it will be directed here. Let's preview it and see what it would look like. So this is what it looks like on a desktop, and we can also preview it on a phone, so we can have an idea of what our audience will be looking at. We can also test it a little bit here. The one thing that we cannot test in this little preview is payments. However, we can test them. We can still see what they would see. We can see that after clicking PayPal, it picks PayPal and it shows you the price underneath the PayPal button. If I want to have a better look at how it's going to work, I can click Try It. And now in Draft, you can have a nice full screen view. You can also open, take this link and open it on your phone to have a look at what it would actually look like on your phone. Now I believe in Draft, it actually loads the PayPal page. It does, and that is where you can see exactly what your customers would see while they're buying these classes. Cool. So that was a little example of a very simple, how long did it take me to make this 10-minute basic funnel for a shoppable quiz kind of content, which is where your audience goes through all 3 stages seamlessly in one 5-minute session. However, most people need more time than 5 minutes to decide to make a purchase, especially if your product is expensive, or if you just can't, if your business model doesn't allow for people to just enter their credit card info and buy whatever they want. Anything that needs sales assistance would be a little bit more difficult than this. So let's look a little bit deeper into each stages. So we have the awareness stage, the top of your funnel, also known as tofu. And the main objective of this stage would be to capture leads and identify interest. So while capturing leads, if you remember with the glasses, it took us a while to find out what kind of glasses they were looking for. Now, the sooner you identify the specific interest for each person, the sooner you can start recommending them more personalized things. Which is why it's very important to not only capture leads, but also capture interest early in the awareness stage, ideally at the same time. So the content types we can create here is very varied because the awareness stage is the top of your funnel, so it's the biggest funnel. It gets the most attention, the most eyeballs, and so your content needs to be varied to capture various types of people and direct them into various types of content. So we can use forms like a very basic contact form on your website, quick, easy way to contact you. The way we can make this different and able to identify some interest, we can add a little bit of survey elements into it. We can ask them, why are you contacting us? What are you looking for? How can we help you? And at the end of that form, we can already direct them to a specific suggestion. That way you make your form smart, and that person can educate themselves just a little bit, helping them move into the consideration stage and push them down your funnel before they have even fully contacted you. Before you even get back to their email, they can already be reading your recommended article, watching the recommended video, specifically based on what they were looking for. That's what we're trying to do here at the awareness stage. Not only capture the lead, but also capture their pain points, their problems, and match them with a solution. You can do the same thing with quizzes, like we just saw. We had the shoppable quiz where we asked them, okay, which one? We have many, pick one, and then you direct them to the specific one that matches. Surveys, again, same principle. Lead pages can be used in your ads, your Facebook ads, social media ads, Google ads. Again, if you add survey elements to your lead page, you will be able to immediately pour your fresh new leads right off the ad into specific little buckets and create very personalized individual purchase journeys for all of them in a very in an automated way, in a hands-free way. And we'll be looking into how to make that possible for your business. Now, calculators. Okay? Calculators are a very underrated form of content, especially when it comes to the awareness stage and capturing leads and capturing specific interests. Calculators can be, of course, used as price calculators all the way to the bottom of your funnel, which is where most people use them, or when calculating quotas. However, calculators can be a fun way and a hands-free way to provide value very early on. For example, if you have a real estate agency, you can help people calculate the mortgage or the final price. If you have a fitness business, you can help people calculate their BMI index. You can help people calculate a variety of things based on what your business offers. And that really helps to push them into the next stage because they are more informed while engaging with your website for the very first time. Biggest issue with the awareness stage, if you look all the way on the top of the funnel, and most people don't make it out. In fact, if you look at the data, 97% of your website visitors do not convert into leads. And that is global, any kind of industry average. Just looking at most websites, they do not convert the vast majority of your visitors. And that can be very frustrating, especially for marketers, because all of your efforts goes into generating traffic and trying to convert it. So after all your time and all your ad budget, only 3% of people, if even that, make it past the awareness stage. So looking into different content types, looking at gamifying your lead collection, providing more value with calculators and recommending that perfect product, and guiding, assisting people when they're just casually browsing can really make that number a lot higher. Even if you increased it by 1 or 2%, that will already be such an immense difference if you look at your overall monthly traffic. So now let's apply what I just said, and let's make a survey for lead capture, for capturing interest, so we can move people out of the awareness stage. So again, we are going to go to Involve Me, and as I said, you can pick any kind of templates to make any kind of look. Now let me look at what kind of businesses we have here. We had a travel business. So let's look if we have some kind of travel-friendly templates. San Francisco, or this one's kind of tropical. Let's go with a tropical one. I like tropical travel. I'm not very much of a city traveler. Cool. So we can preview our template while we're looking at it. We can see that it has image answers. I like the colors. I like the font. Why not? Let's go use template. Again, it's a survey, and we would like to direct people to different paths based on what they answer us during the survey. So I'm going to pick multiple outcomes with different outcome pages again. You can already see your outcome pages down here. So pick outcome pages and start editing. Now this is a personality test, but I'm going to use it as a survey for this particular case. So get rid of the fashion picture. We don't want it to be too confusing. So we just have these tropical leaves in the background, and we have a travel business. So what's your perfect vacation? Right? What's your perfect vacation? Solve question. Helping people, just asking honest question and helping people find their perfect vacation for them. Answer a few questions and find out. Take the test. Maybe instead of test, let's say find out. Cool. I'm going to leave the social media icons here. Why not? They're already here. Cool. So what's your perfect vacation? How do you wear color? I don't really wear my color. I don't like my kind of person. So what can we ask? How often do you travel? Actually, this is let's make it into a multiple choice instead of images, because I don't have a lot of images right now on me. How often do you travel? So we can have only during summer. We can have frequent business trips. Or we can have addicted to travel. Every opportunity I get. We can also add weekend trips. So here we have your summer vacation kind of traveler. We have a business traveler. We have a person who travels at every possible occasion that they get, and we have weekend trips. That already helps us find out what kind of traveler the person who is browsing our website is, and we can maybe start putting them in buckets and recommending certain trips over other trips. So let's keep it simple. I just have done one question. I'm going to delete again. Like you can see, like you can completely slaughter a template, and it's going to still have the same functionality. If you like the look, keep the look. Delete everything else. So we have how often do you travel? We can ask them as many questions as we would like, but for the sake of the length, I'm not going to go too deep into it. Let's add another page. An important part when asking these questions before providing the results of the survey is to include some kind of lead capture element. Again, we're capturing interest, but we're also capturing contact information, so we can get back to these people. So I'm going to drag and drop a contact information element, and here give them a reason to leave their information. So leave your email for personalized recommendation, for example. There we go. So after they leave their email, based on the answers that they have provided in the beginning, I can make 1, 2, 3, 4 outcome pages based on their travel type. So a summer traveler can have 1 outcome page. Frequent business trip traveler can have 1 outcome page. The person who's addicted to travel and will take anything as long as it's a deal will get a different outcome page, and weekend tripper will get another page. Again, I'm not going to make all of these outcome pages right now, but you get the idea. So we'll have 4 different outcome pages. And in your outcome page, you can add a button, and you can make it. You can make that button with a custom web address, and you can direct them to a section of your website where they can learn more about that specific trip, that specific package, whatever you would recommend to them personally. You can also direct them to a variety of options that they can choose from within their category, therefore increasing their chances of converting because you gave them that little personalized recommendation. Cool. So we made a survey. Let's move on to the consideration stage. So what is characteristic of the consideration stage? So these people have made it through the awareness stage, they know what we do, and they have an idea of what it can do for them. They're considering, they're thinking about making a purchase, but they're not quite ready yet. So what we do with these people, we take the interest, we nurture it, and we educate them. We provide them a variety of options to choose from. We teach them about everything that we can possibly do for them. We expand the possibilities that they can see with our product or services. Now, what kind of content type we can create for these people would be some kind of smart form, and I will show you how to make one very shortly, or a lead page, because we already know what they're looking at, but we want to really showcase it. So for example, with that survey I just made about travel types, we can take that person's travel type and we can make a specific lead page showcasing everything catered to that specific travel type. So let's have a look at what things to look out for and what things to try to absolutely include when making this kind of content for the consideration stage. The consideration stage is when we have a lot of information about the client, and we keep gathering more information through every single piece of content that we see them clicking on, so that we see them engaging with, what kind of emails they open, what kind of emails they do not open. So this is really an opportunity to personalize every interaction. And at this stage is also kind of expected of you to personalize interaction. If your content is not personalized, it might have the opposite effect. People might feel annoyed, overwhelmed, and unsubscribe, and that is where you lose them. That is where people drop out at the consideration stage, which is something we're trying to avoid. Let's have a look at some statistics, actually. These are some numbers according to a customer survey as into what happens if you do not personalize your outreach in the consideration stage. So 37% of respondents said that they will be less likely to make a purchase from the brand. 23% respondents say that they will unsubscribe from a brand's email. I'm sure this is something you've told before. You get an email, you don't understand why you're getting it. Why do you even have my address? Because it's so irrelevant to what you were expecting when you signed up for that email. It's completely disconnected. 20% of people will rehash the negative experience to friends and family. So they will complain about you. Your word of mouth will suffer, and that's something that you can't measure. because it's word of mouth, 11% of people will unfollow the brand on social media. They will engage less with your posts will get less visibility and less reach overall, which is something you can easily avoid just by implementing a few personalization hacks. Now, if you look at the positive effects of personalization, you can see that 44% of respondents said that they will be likely to become a repeat buyer if they get personalized recommendation based on their previous purchase, which is huge. 39% of respondents said that they will be likely to tell friends or family if they're happy with a personalized recommendation. And that is awesome because if you look at 20%, will say that they will talk about you negatively to their friends and family, but almost twice that will be likely to tell friends and family if they're happy about you. 32% say that they will be likely to leave a positive review, and we all know that positive reviews are just priceless when it comes to presenting your product, gaining trust and loyalty. 22% of respondents said that they will be likely to post a positive comment on social media, and that's great because your other social media browsers and audiences will see, and that will also help increase how much they trust you and how much they engage with you and are willing to buy from you ultimately. So let's see, let's take that and put it into a page. So let's use an actual lead page form this time just to make it easier on myself. There we go. So I like the lead page, for example, because it's kind of long. Yeah, it showcases 3 benefits, 1, 2, and 3. And after clicking that benefit, it'll tell you just a little bit more. So you have a lead page within a lead page a little bit. So for example, if I pick mobile friendly, it would give you a few more perks about mobile friendliness. Looking at comments. There was a marketing agency mentioned in the comments. So let's make this about a marketing agency. Now for this lead page, we already have the interest, we already know the specific thing that we're trying to promote. So we don't necessarily need multiple outcome pages. I will just give them a 1 thank you page because they have already been segmented. So let's pick the thank you page and start editing it. Cool. So for this marketing agency, a marketing agency can help you launch your business towards success, especially when you're just starting out. It makes sense to contact a marketing agency instead of software. I'm going to write marketing solutions instead of sign up. I guess you would need to have a call with a marketing agency. So schedule call. 37-minute scale, that makes sense. With rated software with 10 out of 10, rated marketing professionals. Is it fast? Yes, it can be fast. So what can we do? They can deliver leads, delivery and segmentation that is completely hands-free. Then we have a quote, a fake quote, fast is the new big. If you don't grow, others will. Is that true for a marketing agency? Yes, it can. So let's take that. So we can see that this button is linked to a page jump. So you can link a button to a specific page and give it just like nurture that tiny little micro interest just a little bit more. So let's link fast to fast. Perfect. So now if they click this button, they will go to this page and they will learn that fast is the new big, and they should definitely schedule a call with you. So let's do another schedule call. Now, button. And let's make a page where they can actually schedule that call. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there's a date and time picker where you can ask people to pick whatever date and time is ideal for them. So what time suits you? And now your leads can select date and time to try it out. Let's see what it would look like. So you can see here, they can pick a date. I guess I can go on Friday at 12. Perfect. And now your appointment is scheduled. So that would be a way to make a lead page for the consideration stage of your funnel. Now let's move on to the final stage, which is the purchase stage. So the purchase stage, obvious, the ultimate goal is to facilitate payments because losing leads that are in the purchase stage is very painful. We have spent time, advertising budget on them. So we definitely want to keep them and try to keep them happy, communicate with them on as personal level as possible, and don't put any roadblocks between the client and the payment. So the kind of content you would want to make for them are price calculators and payment pages, obviously. However, there are many ways to still do it wrong because not everybody who enters your purchase stage ends up actually purchasing something. And that is something you would definitely like to avoid. It doesn't necessarily make sense to watch these people go through your entire funnel and then just suddenly drop off. So let's look at some reasons that might lead people to do so. Only 15% of visitors who initiate purchase actually end up paying, and that is the average of many industries. You can look at it in some industries. It's 87% of people who initiate purchase drop out, and it can go as low as in fashion for 74.30% actually do not complete their purchase. So these numbers are similar in every industry. So I'm sure you're just as impacted by it as any other professional, and it is something that can be easily avoided. Let's look at the reasons why people do not complete their purchases. So most shoppers don't complete their purchase because of hidden costs at the end, having to create an account, and the process being too long. Some other common reasons is that they cannot see the total cost, which is similar to the costs being too high. It's not very pleasant when your price suddenly jumps up by 20% all the way at the end. They didn't complete the purchase because they don't trust the site. There's some website errors or crashes, which is very important that your payment page, however you end up making it, ends up loading well, fast, and functional on mobile phones as well. If a customer decides to pay you on their phone, they should be able to. The delivery is too slow. That makes sense. If you order something and it takes a month to get there, you might as well not. Returns policy, it makes sense to have it clearly stated. And lack of payment options. I'm actually very surprised that it's that low because with me, that is the biggest personal pet peeve. If I can't use PayPal for something, I'm not buying it. And also cards declined. That also freaks a lot of people out. Like, is it my card or is it just a website? I don't know. If your website accepts credit cards, it makes sense to make sure that it accepts a variety of credit cards, not just some credit card. Payment options like Stripe are great for that because they accept a lot of different credit cards. So let's have a look at it and let's try to make a payment page. I'm going to make this payment page from scratch. It's a payment page, so a single outcome where the payment happens will be perfectly enough. Now I'm going to show you something that will help you make custom prices because that's something we get asked a lot. So for example, if you have additional services where you're charging, this is $40 extra, this is $200 extra, etc., etc., etc. There's a way to automatically calculate that price and immediately charge it with PayPal or Stripe, a variety of credit cards, completely automated without any kind of human touch or spending any of your actual time besides setting it up. So let's jump into it. It doesn't look any additional services. and we can list our additional services. For example, an in-person consultation would cost extra. What else can we charge extra for? Overseas shipping. Extra fast shipping, 2-day shipping. We can add as many of these additional charges as we want. However, what we do with them now is we can attribute an extra cost to each of these. So I'm going to write it down here just so the customers can see. So in-person consultation would be $200 extra. Why not? We are living high. Overseas shipping, that would be $50 extra. Sorry if you live overseas. 2-day shipping, that can be $30 extra. Perfect. So this way they can build their own price kind of, and they are notified of that before they see the final price, so they can kind of make a decision like, okay, is this worth it? This is great if you're trying to make like a package of products, and instead of going back and forth like, hey, how can we make this cheaper? You just build it themselves. So now I'm going to attribute these actual prices to the options. So I'm going to take individual score and calculation, and I'm going to pick that multiple answers are selectable, so they can pick more of these options, because if it's just one, then they can only add one additional service. So the value of this would be 200, the value of this is 50, and the value of this is 30. Great. We need a button here. Since multiple answers are selectable, it will not automatically go to the next page after making the selection. So let's put a quick button here, and let's go to the thank you page where we can set up that custom payment. So a payment icon goes here, and instead of a fixed price, I'm going to pick a score, and the score that is calculated here is going to go here. Let's test it, shall we? First, I need to connect the payment methods, both Stripe and PayPal, and let's have a look at why it would work. So I want all of these. Let's go crazy. And when I click PayPal, it shows me the price, which is $280. And there you go. You can set custom pricing just like that. It goes automatically. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to touch it. You set it up in 5 minutes, and it just helps your customers pick custom pricing straight up. They can see all the expenses before they commit to a purchase, and they can make a decision, and they can try to kind of make it work for them. So thank you so much. Now I'm going to have a look at the comments and see if I can answer some of your questions. Okay, I see Rob. Okay, I see Laura. Hello, Laura from Little Rock, Arkansas. So she's a business and brand coach for entrepreneurs. I can imagine your hands are quite full when you're running your own business, Laura, and I can totally imagine you using the custom pricing options, especially when you offer different kind of service packages that your customers might have to put together themselves, and negotiating prices can be also very frustrating. So hopefully having a look at the payment pages and seeing how you can make them work for you would be able to free up some time. Now Anya, hello. Anya from Tropic Trips, hello. See, will this be made available for rewatch? Yes, immediately after the webinar is over, it will be live on Facebook forever. You can rewatch it as many times as you would like to, anytime, any day. Rob, Can your tool fire an FB, a Facebook pixel based on an answer someone gives on a question? I'm looking to create a custom audience based on specific answers in question. Hmm. Yes, you can add Facebook Pixel to your projects. You can also add Google Tag Manager, and you can also add Google Analytics into your projects. So those three tools can definitely track your projects. Shade. What's the difference between score versus calculator on the payment page option? That is an excellent question. If you pick a calculator, it's usually when you have a field when people enter numbers, and then the calculator takes those values from the numbers they have been entered, and you can make a formula that calculates it, and then that displays the final price. However, if you have like a menu with different prices attached to them, you can just score them, and the final score will automatically be added and be the final price. Anything else? I don't think I'm seeing anything else. Great. If anybody has a further question, this webinar will be ran again next Thursday as a watch party, which means the video will be the same as it was this time, but we will be moderating the comments and taking more questions in the comment section. So feel free to watch it again, ask additional questions. You can also reach out to me anytime at monica@involve.me on my Twitter account or on my LinkedIn account or on any of the company social media accounts. I will be there, and I will be very happy to answer your questions on how to make a funnel with Involve Me, or how to make anything related to Involve Me. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a great evening, and I will be leaving the second I find out how to turn off this stream.